Hey, welcome everybody. This is the Q&A session for August 25th, 2021. It's 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm Mark Dannenberg and Kristen Kane is with me tonight. Erin is away and she's actually getting ready to have her baby in the next few days. So it's kind of exciting for us here at Options Moneymaker and New Cycle Trading. So let's go ahead and get started here. If you've not been with us before, our mantra is learn to trade and then trade to earn. So there's a learning curve that's involved in trading successfully. The people who are most successful with their trading invest some amount of time in going through our education programs or some level of learning, and then trading in a simulation mode, whether you're trading options or whether you're trading futures. There are easy ways to trade in simulation mode, so you're not actually risking real money. And until you get to a point where you're consistently generating profits for yourself in that simulation mode, you really shouldn't shift into live money. So that's been our counsel to people who are really learning how to trade, have a desire to learn how to trade. There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be successful with your trading. Learn to trade first, and then after you've invested some time in the learning process, then you can trade to earn. So when we do these Q&A sessions, we're making ourselves available to answer questions that you might have about any type of trading education or any type of program or tool that we offer here, also representing Options Moneymaker and New Cycle Trading. So we have the adaptive entry system. That's what we use primarily for identifying trends. It's an excellent tool for identifying trends. Obviously, there are days in the market that offer huge opportunities for profits, and there are other days in the market that are a bit more challenging. That's just the nature of the market. Live trading room for real-time trading and support. If you want to ask questions, you want to get a clarification on a trade, we are committed to having somebody there to respond to your questions. The Futures Trading Education Program is the opportunity for people to learn the risk and reward of futures. I've heard many people over the years say that they shy away from futures because they're just so risky, and there's a misnomer out there that, well, you can lose all of your money. Well, you can, but those people who are losing in that manner aren't typically the ones who have learned to trade and then trade to earn. You can encounter unusual spots in the market, but it doesn't take much to start an account and to rebuild an account if you hit one of those really unusual, and I'm not talking about every other week, I'm not talking about every month, but really unusual, unexpected, kind of out of nowhere moves in the market. You can have some adverse impacts. But even that, if you're managing your risk effectively in futures trading on a trade by trade basis, you should come through that reasonably well. Personal Trading Plan is a tool that we created to help you really monitor your profit performance. You're going to enter your performance at the end of every day. You're going to record whether you won that day, whether you lost that day, profits and losses, and it's going to help you forecast going forward what your potential income could be based on your personal run rate. Trading is one of those activities. It's a passion or hobby for some people. It is a business and primary source of income for other people. But regardless of what it is, trading is something that you can easily get bogged down in a series of trades in one single day that it just doesn't feel very good. Like, it just feels like it's really sluggish. That's when you take a step back, you take a look at your personal trading plan, you plug in your performance for that day, wherever you are in your day, and you get an idea of what that run rate that you've established for yourself, combination of profits and losses, will project out to over the course of 12 months. And then, of course, one of the very first programs that we developed was our Profit Builder Plus program for options education. So those of you who are interested in trading options, it's an excellent education program. It teaches everything from the very, very basics of options, like what is a strike, what is an expiration, all the way through some of the advanced spread strategies that options traders like to use. Now, one thing about options trading is there's a common denominator between futures trading and options trading, and that is the adaptive entry system. You can use the adaptive entry system for identifying trends for trading futures. You can also use it for identifying trends in trading options. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of that tonight when we start taking a look at some charts. People frequently ask, what's coming next? You know, what we're working on? Well, I got to tell you, Kristen and I have been very immersed in the Aurora system. Now, the Aurora system, if you looked at it kind of like an envelope that encompasses AES, but yet it adds other signals that are proving to be very, very strong signals, helps to navigate through some of those choppy periods that we see in the market where it seems like you're entering a trade, closing it for a loss, entering another trade, closing it for a loss. We still have a little bit of that with Aurora, but we've been working on the Aurora system for the past year. And it took us a while to develop a set of rules that we really felt confident in. We did some tracking of that based on those rules, tweaked the rules, and it's just been a little over a month ago that we started to formalize the tracking in a format that is similar to what Aaron has always shown you with the AES tracking. And we are big fans of the Aurora system. I'll let Kristen speak for herself, but we're big fans of the Aurora system and hope that we can introduce that to you folks here in the next several weeks as a opportunity to perhaps spend less time trading and gain greater profits. And then the other big thing that we're still working on, and this is going to be a while, it's going to take us a while to really develop to the point where we're confident in releasing it to our community, but auto trading for futures. So CycleBot, which is what we refer to it as, will most likely be trading the Aurora system. So the first step is making sure that the Aurora system is working consistently well to a point where our trading community would feel comfortable using it, and then adding auto trading CycleBot on top of that to automate the trading for you. And it doesn't mean you necessarily can full-time step away, but we'll get to the point where you should be able to trade 23 hours a day and just let the auto trading work on your behalf. So we're kind of excited about both of those things. There's so many other things that we have on our list of desired intentions of offering opportunities. But right now, our primary focus is on the Aurora system and the CycleBot auto trading. So one of the things that I emphasize every day is I think it's important to update your personal trading plan at the end of the trading day. We do that. We maintain personal trading plans looking at a variety of configurations of AES. And so I'm going to pull that up right now. So these results can be found on our website, optionsmoneymaker.com, AES-results, and you can take a look at them every day. We update them every single day. So this is coming from the detail of every day. We post the trade detail for each day, and you can see trade by trade what the winning trades were, what the losing trades were, how many points of win, how many points of loss. We also measure the drawdown for each trade, meaning, well, how much did it move against you before it moved favorably for you, and then track the cumulative performance. Now, one of the things I think most of you that are here are aware of is we track generally until about 3:30 every day. We say until 4 o'clock, but typically we're not trading until 4 o'clock. So we track till about 3:30, but that doesn't mean that the end of day result is the final number. It is what we have recorded in the database as the full day. Our full day of recording is from 3 a.m. to whenever we stop, which is between generally 3:30 and 4 p.m. We track 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Performance, but we also track some shorter time frames, starting later, like 9:30 to noon, or 8:45 to whenever we hit 20 points. And the thing to remember when you're looking at the trade detail is if you looked at this number, for example, and said, well, 12 points, that doesn't sound like that's very productive. Well, I don't disagree with that. But an hour and a half before that, you were at 40 points. Earlier in the day, there were some situations, some periods where you were down as much as 23 points. So the numbers will change throughout the day, and that's why it's important to understand what method, what configuration of signals you prefer to trade. We track 9:30 to noon because we have a fair number of people who like to limit their trading to a certain number of hours. They don't want to sit in front of their computer all day. And so we track 9:30 to noon, starting with a $5,000 account. Now, in the first 12 months of that tracking, we started with a $5,000 account and it grew to $103,308. That was the first 12 months. We're now 7.5 weeks into our second 12-month period. We've reset to $5,000. We're carrying a maximum of 3 contracts. We are willing to trade a maximum of 3 contracts. And right now, the projection for 12 months based on current performance is $61,449. Now, that's quite a bit less than what we did in the first year. That just tells me that we've gone through a period in the last few weeks where it's just been a little bit more sluggish. It's been a little bit more choppy. That's actually not a surprise since in the last couple of days, we've hit new all-time highs in the market. And there's a period of time when you hit new lows or new highs where the market kind of stalls, bases sideways. You've got some choppy activity. And so it's a little bit more challenging. But still, 5,000 to a projection right now of 61,000, over 61,000, that's a pretty decent number. And that will continue to change as performance either increases or decreases on a day-to-day basis. The other category that we track is 7 to 4. So this is what I was talking about, where somebody wants to trade from 7 to 4 and they want to invest that time. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is, instead of taking all 4 of the adaptive entry system signals that are available, plus fractals, we only trade the trend bias and continuation trade. So it's really tapping into the trend and taking those trades that are trending and then a continuation of those trends. In the first year, first 12 months, we did $138,610, starting with a $5,000 account. Again, we're 7.5 weeks into our second 12-month period, starting again with $5,000. And right now, the 12-month projection from what we've done in the last 7.5 weeks is 82,000. Actually, I misspoke. That 82,000 is a combination of all of last year's averages, including now the more recent 7.5 weeks. So we're not just basing it on 7.5 weeks. So again, it just shows we have a slightly smaller, lower forecast for right now, but it just corresponds to being at near all-time highs and getting into a little bit of a more choppy, less productive pattern. It still doesn't look bad, in my opinion, if you went from 5,000 to 82,000. But we'll see, as the next few months unfold. And then we have something that corresponds directly to the live trading room start open time frame, 8:45. So we track from 8:45 and then till the end of the day, and we are 33.5 weeks into a 52-week plan here. And right now, based on a maximum of 3 contracts, we are seeing that the account is growing from 5,000 to the projection right now is 117,000. So, right now, I don't know where this is going to finish for the 12 months, but right now that looks like a pretty decent number, probably going to be somewhere around 110 to 120,000, assuming that nothing significant changes in terms of the run rate, which once again is a pretty strong testimony to the AES signals, and particularly those timeframes that align with the live trading room. And then the last category that we track is something that Aaron did quite a bit of research on many months ago, and determined that if we targeted a 20-point profit each day, and our loss was limited to no more than 60 points. So if we got to 60 points, we stopped trading. If we get to 20 points or more, we stop trading. 20 points of profit or more, we stop trading. And again, this is corresponding to the start time frame of the live trading room. The first 12 months did $96,671. Now we're only 1.5 weeks into a new 12-month period, and the projection right now is about 94,000. So any one of these methods has a strong projection. Now, your projections might be a little different than ours. You might be more favorable or less favorable than ours. And one of the things that I want to remind you about, and which I mentioned briefly in the detail, is these projections are based on trading through the entire time period. So 9:30 to noon, for example. There are days where at 10:45 we might be up 35, 40 points, and by the end of the day we might be only at 5 points, or like today, only at 12 points. So there are a large number of traders in our community that will just cease trading when they hit their goal. And so performance on the personal trading plan, we show it to represent the entirety of performance throughout the day or throughout the time period. Whereas practically speaking, if my goal for the day was to be at 30 points, I would have been done earlier. I would have been done much earlier in the day. Probably would have stopped when I hit 29.5 points if that was my goal. If 30 points was my goal, that's close enough for me. So I would have been done at 1 o'clock, whereas by 3:30, I only have 12 points. So today I record 12 points of profit in the 8:45 to, in the 7 to 4 category, whereas somebody else might have recorded 30, 35, 24. So the opportunity to build your business is huge, and our numbers reflect the entirety of the trading activity throughout the day, throughout the time period that we're measuring. And almost always the results can be better than that earlier in the day. So it's important that you update, in my opinion, your personal trading plan. It's important that you keep track of what your performance has been. And I think it's important for you to be able to look forward and see, well, what's the 12-month forecast? If you treat this as a business, much like I recommend, you want to know what your business income is going to be. I have all of my accounts limited to 3 contracts trading AES, but you could increase that to 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever you choose. And there's no additional units of work that are required by you. You're still doing the same amount of work. But if you use the personal trading plan the way it's designed, the number of contracts that you trade will be based on a percentage of the balance of the account. We use 10% of the balance of the account. You can make that 5%. With Aurora, you're going to hear me talk more and more about Aurora even before we fully introduce it. But with Aurora, Krista and I are building a personal trading plan that's based on 5% of the balance. And we have a much larger number of contracts, even trading up to 30 contracts that the personal trading plan will grow us to. But we have a big number that we are looking for out of Aurora. And we're pretty excited about the opportunity to bring that to you when we feel like all parts of the system are ready to release. So that's the importance of updating our personal training plan and where we stand at this point. So I'm ready to take questions. If you have any questions, you have any comments, you have any thoughts about what we teach and what we offer. And while I'm waiting for questions, again, I want to just reinforce that the importance of learn to trade and then trade to earn. There's far too many traders that come to this opportunity and immediately begin to trade to earn first. They fail, and the unfortunate part is I hear from many of them, and there's always a common denominator. They fail, and I can rewind back to they didn't invest the time to learn. They wanted to jump in because they thought it was a quick fix, a quick solution for them making some money. So I want you to really learn to trade and trade to earn. We're here to provide futures trading education and options education. The adaptive entry system, live trading room is available for you to sign into. If you're an AES subscriber, sign in, and we're available to ask questions of. And then, of course, the personal training plan. We built this set of tools so that you could build a successful personal trading business. And you can access more information on those tools at optionsmoneymaker.com/investor2.